Please put your hands together for the co-founder of Noise, Amit Khatri. Joining this conversation is our very own chief evangelist from D2C Insider, Abhishek Shah. Can we have a huge round of applause for them?
Hi everyone. Good to see a lot of energy here on the floor.
Hi everyone. Good evening. Thanks a lot, Amit, for making it. And guys, it's very exciting to have all of you here. So I was just telling Amit about Elevate and what we are trying to achieve here. And his first, comment was the ecosystem has to grow, the companies have to grow, only then we all will grow. So cheers to that, and thanks a lot, Amit, for making it today evening.
I'm just saying, when I was checking this brochure a while back and I saw that there are many startups here who are at a good scale of 10 lakhs to 2 crores. It is so excited to see all of them. And it is important that a lot of that ecosystem has to grow all together. The new brands has to come and consumer demands are emerging. So happy to, share our learnings and findings to the people here. It's not working.
Yeah, so I think the whole idea of the Elevate platform is to identify early stage companies, give them the right exposure, give them some capital, give them access to the right knowledge, the learnings, and basically help them accelerate, right? And I think this is the fourth cohort we are doing, and lots of learnings. I think it's a tough problem to solve at early stage. It's so unstructured. There are so many variables. And the idea of Elevate is also that all of us, when we started the community 5 years back, and we've all gone through this journey, right? So there's a lot of learnings. So how do we share those learnings? If we can help you cut down your cost to learn, basically, and time to market, I think we all can create faster, better. Like Noise has taken 10 years of journey, right, Amit? So, like, if I ask you, Amit, that if you had a chance to rebuild Noise, let's say hypothetically, right? And do you think now, for the second attempt, you would have done it much better, faster, more efficiently? Do you think so?
No, first of all, I think when maybe 10 years back, when we all started, there was no such ecosystem who could help us out. So, for every scale, we made our mistakes, and maybe it's been 10 years now where we are in today. So, I personally think that the generation or the ecosystem where we are in today, so people would do it much faster. What we did it in 10 years, maybe 2 3 years are good for that. And if you look at all entrepreneurs outside or ecosystem, I think 27 28 year founders are building way bigger companies what we have built at this stage of life. So this
Absolutely.
this is one part. And when you ask me that how would you build Noise again, something given up, so honestly I feel business is all about right time, right place, right product. So I'm not sure if I will be able to build this sizable business again. All things has to go right. But what I know is we would make it faster if we have to do it. And I think for every startup, the journeys are very different. When 0 to 1, 1 to 20, 10 to 20, and 20 to 100. So that definitely helps.
No, absolutely. I think timing, luck favors the prepared, right? So 99% is perseverance, 1% is luck, right? No, that's great. But coming back to that, you mentioned that at every stage it's been very different, right? I think we would take a step back and would love to actually, love the audience to actually know your journey. Seen some of the podcast, have been interacting with you for the last 5 6 years, and keep hearing from Umang also, right? But I think for a lot of them, if you could maybe share the genesis behind Noise, and given that your background, I think you are NIFT and you come from the fashion and merchandise background, and I think Gaurav, your brother, he was the tech. He's basically the tech nerdy guy, right?
He's a commercial pilot, so he also
Yeah.
doesn't come from
Yeah,
this
so I think
background.
that's how you guys started, and I just saw your podcast also where you were talking about the journey. So it would be great for the audience to actually have some bites from you.
So maybe I'll not spend much time over it, but whenever we were building, or when we thought of starting business, Noise, so I think we were not planning or when we never thought where we are today we will be. But when we started Noise, we thought of solving a real problem. I mean, we wanted to buy stuff, it was not available here, so we used to travel a lot. So you're going to US, get it from there. You're going to Hong Kong, get it from there. That's how the need started. So that's how we started. I mean, you need to solve, you need to find a pain point and then solve for people around. So we started with mobile covers, and because there was no mobile covers there for us, and you will be surprised, we used to use Apple Mobile that time. So we thought ki Apple ke mobile cover karte hain and it will do well in India. So we got a lot of stocks here, but it never sold
It
because
tanked.
no, it
I'm
not
sure all
tanked.
of you can relate to it, right?
No, it didn't tank, but I realized that India market is
Over optimistic.
not over optimistic. We were iPhone users. It doesn't mean the country was iPhone users. So then we realized that Xiaomi is coming up with iPhone cover. Can we do something with Xiaomi? And then it clicked for us. And then we were looking to buy a Fitbit watch. And I think maybe 5 years back it was only Fitbit in the market. There was 20,000. We said, "Yeah, budget 8-10 हज़ार hai. Can we get something?" So that's how we build a product where we realize that let's not cater to the super bottom. Let's not talk about the super top of the market. Can we speak to the aspirational youth of the country? And that's how we started our business. But we always solved a pain point. And by the way, we did a lot of categories where we failed. A lot of you don't know because when you go to Amazon, so a lot of you would be working with marketplaces. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
तो वो मार्केट प्लेस पे जब भी जाओगे तो आपको बताएगा इस कैटेगरी पे इतने जीवी आ रहे हैं, ये 800 रुपए का बेचता है, आप इसको 700 का बेच दो, एंड देन आई विल गिव यू रेवेन्यू. एवरीवन बाय द वे, कोई कम बोलता है, कोई ज्यादा बोल, मतलब somebody has people are more aggressive on Flipkart and Amazon is not. So वो 700 600 900 तो हमने देखा है ये. We started with mobile covers. We started with $500. We went up to 200 rupees. We realized that let's move into a category where at least we don't have to do it. So I personally think you should find your niche. If you're just trying to solve for a commodity play, you will not survive. Race to bottom, it's a good revenue kick. All of you will get, but and in the early days, I think product should be hero. If somebody says spend on performance, please shoot that person because performance. When we started, it was 5%, 7%. Now it is 18%.
But is that true today? Like in today's market, without performance, can we?
Yeah, I think if you're building a product, you should build a community. Like this, what you're building is community. You need what will be 500 evangelists who like your product, who love your product, and then recommend. So it has to go both hand in hand, but just performance doesn't work. But in my case, it's race to bottom.
Right, right. So smartwatch,
Sorry,
more affordable.
आप the costs, people keep talking about 4x, 5x. वो आज 4x है, कल 3x होगा और 2x होगा, and please understand your gross margins will not go up. ASP is going down, performance is going up, so you will have a pressure there. If next business, I will not build a business which is just built on performance. I will try to take the community route.
Right. It could be community, it could be content, it could be whatever.
Whatever, I mean,
Whatever is your GTM.
community of 100,000, 5,000 people who will stand by us, which means the product is good and then it automatically works out. Definitely you need performance, but it has to be balance of both.
Amit, ये सब बोलते हैं, but for early stage founders, there's so much of pressure. The first question anyone will ask you, what is your MRR? है ना? अरे 5 लाख कर रहे हो, अरे थोड़ा scale करके लेके आओ, है ना? तो अब वो scale करने के लिए performance is the way to get quick results, right? And everyone is chasing quick results, right? So, and you guys have been bootstrapped actually, right? So, would love to know what's your view on that, and would you do that again? And do you think that sets you behind the competition in terms of your ability to scale? Like you can't take hacks like performance because you're bootstrapped, maybe, or is that you're saying that even if you have capital, you would still not take a performance route?
No, so I'll tell you, being bootstrapped helped us in a lot of ways. When we were starting business, so somebody said us कि I think Flipkart क्या wired earphone कर लो, wired earphone बहुत बिकते हैं. I said यार wired earphone Sony बेचता है 300 रुपए में, तो अब आप मुझे कहोगे 200 में बेचते हैं, which means I compromise on quality. I have to spend more on marketing. I have to sell at a cheaper price, which means eventually I am not doing right with the brand or with the customer or with the unit economies. Since we had no money, we realized that what categories should we do. So we entered into watches, by the way. हमने वायर्ड ईयरफोन्स करे थे, बंद कर दिए करके, because हम sustain नहीं कर पाए. So we entered into categories which people were not there, which like
Niche.
Blue
Ahead of
Ocean,
the curve. Ahead of the curve.
ahead of curve, which we thought would explode in coming time, and it helped us that ways. And there were a lot of people who had raised a lot of capital. They burned monies. I mean, you will look at people, they burned 500 crores, 1000 crores, and then wrapping up businesses. We were very lean on inventory. We looked at products which were high margin, about to come, less competition, and then our thesis were very clear: do less, do more with less. So less people, which means good people. Whenever you get capital, सबसे एक ही thesis है सबका, build teams. And by the way, it's you now, Abhishek, invest a lot. You meet any founder who has raised 10 crores in life, he will say, and he'll come and tell you, you know what biggest mistake I've done in life? I hired a lot of people and they were useless. 10 people, I made it 50 because I had money and I have to scale back to 10. So do more with less products, do more with less people, do more with less marketing. I mean, if you have that fundamental, uh, there are likely chances of being more successful.
But there's a lot of FOMO, right? Looking at people around you. So how did you manage that?
I was also a part of FOMO. Uh, so in our industry, I'll tell you, when we started watches, so watches were 2 million per year, which means 2 million is 20 lakhs. And the market went up to 5.5 crores, which is 55 million. It is what, 20x? 25x.
And this is in what, couple of years?
4 years, I think 2020 to 2025, it went from 2 million to 55 million, and everybody started entering into watches and spending money. I used to meet founders, they used to say, we are the fastest growing D2C brand. We have 100 crore revenue, and they were selling watches, let's say buying at 800 rupees, selling at 1000, spending 300 on CAC. We didn't know what mistakes they are doing. They were getting piles of stock, which we used to fight here. Our teams are not doing a good job. But now you look in Q1, there were 85 brands last year. Now they are left to 55. Industry is bleeding in a bad way. So whosoever took short-term steps, they don't survive. So I would say कि अगर maths नहीं बैठ रही, please don't do it. Let them do it. It will, time will tell. 2 साल 1 साल wait कर लो आप. And if, by the way, these are investors sitting here, if your business fundamentals are right, they will come to you.
नहीं यार इन्वेस्टर तो मत ही बोलो कम से कम मतलब we are not investors, we are operators, है ना?
Yeah.
We'll always remain operators.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the idea is like we defined 4 pillars, right? Access, network, knowledge, and capital. And we realize that without capital, the game can't be made, right? You have bootstrapped it, and I don't know if
No,
you,
it's tough now.
if you
Without
had some capital, did you have your own capital? How did you
no, no.
guys?
This is my second business. So I put in capital from my first business, but definitely had there been more capital, maybe we would be accelerated in a way, a bigger way. But capital helps. Maybe 10 साल पहले competition नहीं था, brand बनाना आसान था, CAC बहुत कम थी. अब I think things are not possible, and you need basic hygiene things right now in order, in terms of little bit team you need, little bit of marketing, branding, celebrity. I'm sure all of you would be now dying to have a celebrity on board for your brand. So these are costs. Like we don't have any celebrity now.
I think you guys pioneered that, right? With all the influencers, you had like a big rooster of folks, right? So how did you manage that?
So this FOMO, everybody was having celebrity. We said, okay, we should have. We had, first was Nora, then was Rohit Sharma, then was what? Rohit Sharma was second, third was Rishabh Pant, then we had Tapsi Pannu.
But these were from cash flows.
Cash flows. Then we had Neeraj Chopra. Then we
You
had
guys
Virat.
had everyone, almost.
Now we don't have anyone.
Okay.
Now we realized किसी और का OKR नहीं solve करना चाहिए. We don't need them anymore.
You don't have Virat Kohli or someone right now.
No, we have no one, and there are one or two names which I don't even remember now.
No, but back then did that help you guys with the whole
Yeah,
influencer
I
strategy?
think no. I think it helps actually at an early stage of business where your brand need visibility, so it helps. But that is also very expensive now. I mean, no celebrity cost you cheaper, and let's say you're spending 100 on a celebrity, you have to spend 500 on marketing of it. So, but we made our share of mistakes. So I don't recommend early on anybody to pay to celebrity. Either get them on board as a partner or an equity arrangement instead of paying it to them.
You don't recommend that?
Equity arrangements are still better, yeah. You can't pay them. You can't pay them for like
With equity, you get stuck with someone, from a long run point of view.
it works, yeah. Somebody gives you an acceleration. I don't think right now any one of the startup is in a position to spend like 2-3 crores or a crore on any celebrity.
Great. And tell me one thing, like, we all keep saying noise is bootstrapped, right? And bootstrap to scale is our theme. But was that by accident, or was that because of lack of options? Did you guys try raise money? What did you hear from the investor community when you tried raising money, or was it a conscious choice not to raise money?
नहीं यार, I think I come from a background where I've boosted. Okay, I started my first business with what 50-60 thousand of saving in 2007. So I think the fundamental DNA was built to right fundamentals. So कभी raise करने की कोशिश नहीं करी. We are not from that background, but whenever we went to market to raise, it was very tough. Our space is like people have heard a lot about Micromax and all, so they were not keen to put in money, and our businesses were fundamentally right. We made money, by the way, so it's okay. Let's build it.
So it was lack of capital which forced you to bootstrap in a way,
Honestly, yes.
right? And that forced you to do the right things because there was no option but to do the right things.
See, I think when you don't have capital or investor, you don't need to dress up the company. Let's say investor says, if I'm coming in today, 5 years out, I need an exit, which means you have to do all wrong things to pump up the revenue. Maybe if the company has to go IPO, you have to do all wrong things to do an IPO. And now you're seeing in the market post IPO what is happening. The different results are coming before pre IPO. So at least we got safeguarded, and now also we have Bose as a strategic investor in our company.
Yeah, that's amazing, guys. I think cheers to that, guys.
So Bose also, we realized that we need an investor who could help us to build product R&D. So that's how it happened, and they are long-term patient capital. So they are also pushing us to level up the game in terms of product.
Yeah, you guys just launched a range which is powered by Bose Tech, right?
So we realized that how to build a brand, and building a brand, we realized there is no better name than Bose. So they are lending us the tech to us. So we are trying to build a collaborative range with them, so that we could level up our brand and definitely offer an enhanced product to the users.
And that was your first round ever. Before that, you guys had not raised any money
No, the first round ever. We had many term sheets, but never raised.
from VCs.
VCs, P, every level for strategic.
You had term sheets, but you chose not to raise.
Sometimes they chose not to put in. Sometimes we chose that let's not do it.
And how did the Bose thing happen? Did you guys approach, if you don't mind sharing? Like, I think it sounds like a dream, right? For an Indian D2C brand,
Yeah.
homegrown, bootstrapped, and then Bose is like the benchmark for the category globally. And them coming and investing in you guys and now collaborating with you guys and launching a product range. And I also read you guys are also now going to power Bose distribution.
We are Bose.
So obviously it's a win-win for both sides.
Yeah.
But how did it happen? I mean, how do you get a Bose, which is a global tech pioneer?
Sir, I personally think, first of all, before why we get, I think India got that opportunity because India as a market, people look up to that. It's going to be third largest economy in the world. And China was the largest market for most of the brands like Apple, I think second largest. For all of them, second largest is China. And they feel the way India is growing next 10 years has to be India. So that was the first choice for them to move to India market strategically. And second, I think they never share with us that why they invested in us, but they evaluated most of the companies and they realized at least our DNA was bootstrapping. They realized that without capital, we build a sizable business, whereas others have raised enough of it. Second, I think we were trying to build product which are at least for the aspirational country. We were never the cheapest. We never did commodity like they never don't want to do wired earphones. They didn't want
You
to
were
do.
never the cheapest, you're saying.
We were never the cheapest. We said we are okay to leave this war. We can't do it. We will lose money, and it was not our DNA. So maybe that has helped in our favor.
Because you didn't have the investor pressure to show top line growth every month, every quarter.
I mean, right now also we realize to grow the revenue, you have to sacrifice on the margins, which is not right. So let's build business sustainably. So that's always a belief from day one.
No, I think it's a huge milestone for the Indian D2C ecosystem. So congrats on that again, guys.
I mean, yes,
Yeah, so I think,
and
it's like amazing. We could have not thought about this 5 years back, right? When we started.
honestly not. And maybe if that's also example setting for other brands also. When a brand invest in India, there are other brands also in maybe different spaces where you guys are in would also look up to invest in India as a market and then brands.
Right. So Amit, you have seen the journey of this community, right? And this whole ecosystem grow, right? Back then when we started 2018, 19, kuch bhi nahi tha. We were also small, right? And now we have a Bose coming and investing. We have Mamaearth, which is went for IPO. There are acquisitions happening, minimalist. So, I mean, obviously we are having our place in the sun, right? But from a community point of view, we still see so many new brands come in, right? The whole program Elevate is designed for early stage. And the reason of that is that we have 80% of the community which is early stage, which are new founders. And we keep meeting them in events and here and there. And everyone has so much of FOMO, right? Ki, अरे यार मतलब सब लोग कर रहे हैं मैं नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. So what is your advice to young founders who are just starting out? Because you have been there, done that, and you have gone through that hard grind, I would say, of building it the organic way. But I think patience levels are low and FOMO is very high. And I think you also feel out of the blue, यार वो कर रहा है मैं क्यों जैसे आपने बोला भी कि यार low price करके volume नहीं लाना है, right? But that temptation is always there, and we all founders tend to fall for it because everyone wants results, everyone wants validation. So how do you avoid that, and how do you actually stick to your core purpose and build it, over a long term?
Yeah, I think first everybody. I think good part good is that you're a part of ecosystem. So everybody needs mentoring from time to time. Like I also have a lot of mentors who keep guiding me. I also keep deviated and saying, "Yeah, my revenue is dipping. I can't lose the category. I can't lose the share to others." But there are people to guide us. But maybe two, three fundamental things. I think first of all, speed is important, very much important in the market, which means we always call it MVP product zaruri hai. You don't need to be the best. You need to fail fast. So whatever product you have, if you are confident and it
Speed
is
of iteration, you're saying.
speed of iteration, sir. By the way, when you are new, let's say if I see your brand, I'm willing to experiment, but I'm happy if you are iterating fast. And if you're continuously shipping shitty products, I won't like it, and I'm okay to write it off also. So iterate fast, fail fast, and speed चाहिए थोड़ी सी. And don't over obsess about scale. एक beyond a scale, I think everything is fine. Just have right set of community where people are saying कि this product I want to recommend to others. If the recommendation is happening, you are doing a right job. And I think third thing and what I have realized now is you should always look at long term things. Long term doesn't mean 5 years down the line, but look at something that will it add value to you after a year, for an example. What range you are building, will it be relevant after a year or will it start paying you after a year? Because nothing pays immediately. So that patience you should have and let people do what they are doing. If the fundamentals are not right, the maths are not happening, they are losing money, they have to stop the business. Either they are investing in brand, then that's fine. But if they're discounting the product, then that's the right way. Paytm से कितनों ने shopping करी वैसे? I always used to buy laptops from Paytm because they used to give Apple
Cheapest.
MacBooks at what 45,000 rupees. And when they stopped doing it, we stopped buying from them. So
But isn't that true of the Indian consumer overall? I mean, isn't that how the market is?
why you want to talk to that user then? I'm just saying why you want to talk to a user who want to shift a brand for 20 rupees. I would rather care for a user who want to pay 200 rupees more, want to stay to me. If you ask me, I will never do a business which is bottom of the pyramid. I will not do the top also. I will pick up a segment which is a narrow cohort of users who have decent income, decent education, and want to pay. Aspirational India. Mokobara is a classic example.
Mokobara?
I mean, we were just talking Mokobara, or anybody uses Whole Truth also here.
A lot of us, I'm sure.
I mean, they sell protein powder at a rate of US companies. What else do you think? And they are growing fast. People are admiring their product. Mokobara is a classic example. They are not cheap. So look at it.
Right.
And they will win.
But they're funded, right? I mean, they are venture funded, right? So you can
Which-
afford to
Which
do
is
that
fine.
when you have a lot
I'm
of
just
money.
saying, all of you are here who have raised capital from here. At least build a business who is catering to that segment of users. I would not do the bottom.
No, I'm talking more from a bootstrap point of view, right? When you have less capital and you still want to grow, you tend to take
Yeah, but
shortcuts, right?
no, but do products which doesn't exist. You have to find your narrow spaces where nobody is catering.
You have to find a niche.
Boss, अगर मैं wired earphone कर रहा होता, how would I have sustained in the market? I
You just
can't
bleed.
beat Sony on R&D, their distribution, their pricing. Similarly, in your category, like I saw some category for women lingerie kind of
Yes, shapewear.
shapewear. This is a new category. Nobody's there, man. I mean, you're in a good space. This is a very narrow cohort.
Right.
It is not easy to make in India also. So you have decent entry barriers there. You will be able to scale up if the product is good. Women as a community, they stick to it.
Right.
So I mean, such spaces are definitely good.
So find a niche, and then you said focus on customer love.
Narrow cohort. I would always say focus on a narrow cohort. Don't go broad.
And focus on bottom line, basically. Don't
So
try and
if you
scale.
remember, I don't remember this company Milk Basket. Everybody would be using initial days. I know their model. Normally, what all companies do is they expand themselves in every market. I think they are from they based on Sona Road only.
Right.
So they picked up one community, they mastered there. Then they picked up second community, they mastered there. Like Vatika, then Tatvam Vilas. Then they picked up third one, Orchid. They excelled there and then they expanded. Instead of saying कि मैं पूरे गुड़गांव को cover करूंगा. So that narrow cohort, picking them well, excelling there helps.
Yeah, I think that's what the Y Combinator data also shows, by the way, that most of the companies which broke out in Y Combinator were actually companies which took a niche rather than a mass, right? Because the problem with mass, and we also see a lot of discussions on everyone wants to be the next Mama Earth, right? But one is that time was different. Today, to replicate that would take a lot more capital. Second, not everyone needs to be Mama Earth, right?
But let's look at Mama Earth for an example. If 10 साल पुराने बात अलग थी, like we were same cohort of startups.
Right.
Okay, tell me if somebody wants to do a watch today, how can he have a better product than us when we are shipping 10 million devices a year? How can he have a price advantage than us if we are buying in bulk?
Marketing.
How can he be better in marketing? How can he be better in distribution? Which means everywhere you have to sell better product at a cheaper price, which means you have to 100% lose money, or we are doing a mistake in somewhere. You can't win. If you have to win, you need to do a product which we don't do, which means you need to speak to a cohort of users which we are not talking. There is a space, it is narrow, but then narrow could also grow big.
Not too narrow also, right?
Obviously. You need to go to a space which is at least sizable.
So kind of, do you think you also need to get lucky then? Because if you choose a niche and if that niche explodes, that's the playbook then.
I mean, as founders, मतलब हमने भी category पहले करी थी, तो we kept pivoting. We learned, move to next. So as founders, you might find a category which might not grow as. By the way, I'll tell you, we started doing action cameras also. That time GoPro was there.
GoPro, yeah, GoPro.
So अब नए थे, एक्शन कैमरा चालू कर दिया. वी बिकेम इंडिया लीडर्स. देन वी रियलाइज्ड कि यार
Marketing में.
नहीं, फोन के कैमरा अच्छे हो गए. मार्केट तो था, बट iPhone, you can take iPhone now in a 50-meter deep water. You can do whatever besides extreme outdoors an action camera can do, you can do with iPhone. Then we realized the market is shrinking and we had to shut that category, which was like, we went 24 crores in a year, maybe 7 years back. So, but we pivoted to second.
Yeah. So I think we all see the output, right? That today noise is the market leader in wearables, right? But you're saying there's a lot of iterations. You've tried
Maybe
so many things.
7 times we have failed ourselves. The stocks are still there with us.
That's
But you have to, like I said, fail fast, move on.
maybe the market will come. No, so talking about failures, I think that's a very good topic before we open it up to the audience. I think what you've shared from a playbook point of view makes a lot of sense. Let's say if you had to do it again, I'll again come back to that. What are the few mistakes you think you would avoid this time? Or what do you think generally are few learnings from a failure lessons point of view? What do you think you did not get right and which you, in hindsight, would have obviously fixed now?
I mean, first of all, whatever I would do, I would have a little long-term horizon of year and a half over doing things. Like initially, when we thought of doing a business, we used to think, yeah, can I make money today? And we picked up categories which were actually short-term. So I would do something which would last maybe year after it would start giving results to us. That is one key thing I would say. And definitely for all of you, any segment what you pick, it has to be decent size. See, it's 10,000 crore category. If you become a 1% player, you become a 100 crore category. You can't be in a 500 crore category where you say, I'll take 20%. It's not possible.
Too optimistic.
That's, yeah. And always look at brands actually, wherever the market is highly fragmented in any space, there is a high chance for you to take. And where the market is not fragmented, let's say in our case, I'll give you any category, let's say phones above 50,000 is 40-50% Apple, and what 30% Samsung or something like that, and 10% is OnePlus. Super solid, stable category. There is no third player, fourth player. Third player is also not there. You can't enter that space. But when you go bottom, let's say entry price point, there are 10 brands. It is easy to disrupt there. And in the middle space, there are 6 brands. So it's 10, 6, and 3. So it is easy to disrupt when the market is highly fragmented, but at top you can't. So look that landscape.
Sometimes some markets are not fragmented. It's like a duopoly or a whatever. There are three
You
players.
can't break it. Till the time you have a solid differentiation, you can't break it. Duopoly markets are there. Like if anybody thinks of starting a marketplace, can they survive?
No, if you innovate, right? What happened with the Nama Yatri thing, right?
So maybe you have a solid proposition which could break.
You have to innovate.
Innovation is key. EV
I think it
industry.
happens more with tech, right? Where tech
I-
changes so fast.
नहीं मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि यार I think every industry now tech is coming in. Is the way you market. Beauty is all getting tech now. There is AI coming one or the other shape to every space. So there will be disruption. You won't realize. I was looking at. I was traveling to London. I saw a mouse which was also an AI mouse. So I think people need to think. Somebody is doing just AI mouse. There are 2 or 3
AI
companies.
mouse.
I'm just saying there are people who are disrupting and you want new products now. So disruption will happen, but innovation need to be there.
I'm saying fragmented market is a good sign for you to enter.
100%.
And you said that don't build for the short run. So I think you're mentioning you caught some trends which were short run and which you tried off.
I mean, now I would look at always year and a half down the line, not 3 years. मतलब 6 महीने भी नहीं सोचूंगा, but साल 1.5 साल का. And investors also understand. Please understand, whosoever investor you're going, he has seen. I think he would have also seen more than 1,000 startups.
Yeah, I think we have 10,000 in our community.
So you also know that who are failing also at 2 years out.
हाँ मतलब 2-3 साल में तो कुछ बनता ही नहीं है. So it takes
नहीं बनता.
10 years journeys.
And if बनता है, there are startups who get made.
You can get lucky. I mean, there can be
हाँ,
exceptions.
but time लग जाता है.
But
5 साल.
specifically, it takes time, right? I mean, historically, it has.
I mean, look at the way our economy is growing. I was 50%. What? How many percent of shoppers shop online now? I was reading Chandigarh shops around 50% people are shopping online.
5-0.
In Chandigarh, there was a report today at
Quick
ET.
commerce and all of that. I think the boundary is extended significantly. Definitely. Yeah.
Disruption is happening, and quick commerce is disrupting in one way or the other. So scope is there. And if you look at more demographic reports also, so you will see that India is trying. We are like a pyramid economy right now, and we gonna be like a economy which is US is inverted pyramid. India is right now pyramid. Pyramid means we have mass at bottom, premium is very narrow, and if you go to US is inverted pyramid, which means the bottom is very narrow, and like they sell 80%, 60% Apple iPhones. And we're gonna be moving to the center where our bottom would move to middle. So I think if you're catering and looking to that set of user who is 5 to 15 LPA kind of an income group, they have a high purchasing power.
Yeah, I mean, India is a very large population and a young population, and we're just getting started. So I think we have a long way to go and opportunities for everyone to scale, build thousands of more noise and Mama Earth and
I think
2,000 crore brands.
I'm 100% sure few of these startups would sitting here would make it very faster and bigger. Maybe 3 years out, you would be at a different stage.
Cheers to that, guys.
100%. I mean, it's happening everywhere.
We hope all of them. Right. Great. So, guys, I'll not take more time. I'll open it up to you guys. So, please go ahead with your questions if you have any, and we'll take a couple of them. Please go ahead. Can we have a mic, please, for him? You can take the mic. Maybe just intro yourself quickly. Bad luck.
Yes.
Bad luck. Bad luck.
Amit, founder of Ecosys, we are doing launch pod segment. My question is when should brand start investing in branding? I mean, what type of factors should we consider? Like it's a scale, repeat rate. I mean, because branding is like a capital investment, which will give the long-term effect on top line, but immediate effect in bottom line.
Yeah, I think maybe I don't know how do I define, but let's say initial revenue of let's say 1,000. You're in laundry business.
Laundry pod segment.
Yeah, so maybe I would. How do I term it? Maybe let's say 0 to 5 crore or whatever you want to call 0 to 1 crore of annual revenue. You should be able to build on community. And the second step has to be more of performance, like he was talking about growth. Performance plus little brand, and maybe you reach 20, 30 crores of run rate, depending on the space. Then you should start thinking about building a brand. Too early on, you can't build. Brand is like I was talking about. You have to, let's say, commit 5 crore, 10 crores to build a brand today. You can only have when you see 0 to 1 crore is what? You were looking at product market fit.
Yeah.
Then second were testing scale. कि यार मैं 100 कस्टमर को केटर कर पा रहा हूँ क्या, 5,000 को कर सकता हूँ क्या, मेरा प्रोडक्ट सस्टेनेबल है या नहीं. And once that is done, then you invest in marketing or branding, in other words.
Got it. Thank you.
Hi, this is Kshitij. I make educational toys. So, since you guys are bootstrapped and you went from 2 million to 55 million in market size, so a lot of this would have come from debt, or like how did you manage the inventory? Like this kind of growth also needs money. So, where did that money come from, or if like is it pure cash flow, or what's your comment on debt?
Yeah, so I'll comment on that. So what happened that since we had low capital, so let's say our peers were sitting on 120 days inventory. And in our space, inventory, if you don't sell, like iPhone जो 1 लाख का पिछले साल था, इस साल 80,000 का और अगले साल 60,000 का बिकना है. And maybe after that, nobody will buy also. So people right now also have 120 days inventory. We as a company have 42 days of stock in hand. So, I mean, we work in a very nimble way. We are okay to go out of stock. What we have realized, by the way, for all of you, be out of stock. Don't worry about मेरा opportunity loss है because जो वो घर stock लगने वाला है ना, वो सारे profit ले जाएगा. तो and wherever we had no stocks, limited stocks, we made money. I'll tell you why. Not FOMO. When you have more stocks, you are thinking of liquidation. Liquidation means आप दो ही चीज फ्लिपकार्ट बोलेगा आपको, परफॉर्मेंस मार्केटिंग और प्राइस ड्रॉप. आप बोलोगे नहीं यार मेरे पास 5,000 पीस नहीं बेचने, 500 बेचने, अपने प्राइस पे बेचूंगा, अपने तरीके से बेचूंगा, देन यू विल मेक मनी. सो दैट इज वन पार्ट. एंड सेकंड, वी हैड टेकन डेट फ्रॉम बैंक, बट फॉर्चुनेटली आवर बैलेंस शीट्स वर गुड, सो बैंक ने हमें डेट दिया. वी नेवर यूज्ड टू टेक वेंचर डेट आल्सो, बाय द वे. आई थिंक वेंचर डेट इज व्हाट 15-16%.
Venture debt follows venture funding, na?
No, but you still get growth debt
Huh.
where they finance you, but that was like 18% something.
RBF, you're talking about revenue-based financing.
Yeah, revenue based
That's very
finance.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very. So coming back to your point, you would need capital. If you're able to raise early on, that's very good, yeah. Otherwise, capital is expensive. 15 to 18% you have to spend, and inventory is. People get screwed up because of inventory.
How much debt is good debt? Like 1 month of revenue.
Don't worry, my friend. The good debt definition is the guy who is giving you. You will figure out. You want 12 months of revenue because see, okay, the guy who is giving you debt, he will look at your repayment capacity. He will look into it. Ki, what does your books talk about, and will you be able to repay or not? Because he need to safeguard himself. So he will not give you the debt also. So you don't need to worry about it. But in other words, keep less inventory. I would say ki in any business, keep 30 to 45 days, not more than that.
Good.
Hi, my name is Rahul from Smart Caffeine. So you mentioned
Sorry, smart.
Smart Caffeine. It's a pre-launch, so we'll launch in a few months once we get the license. So you mentioned that your next business, if you start, will be a community-based business. So what made you say that? If you can elaborate more on that, and if you start a community-first business, what will be the first few steps you will take?
So caffeine-based business. What?
I'm just generally talking.
No, no,
about
no.
your business.
I'll maybe put it in context to your business. Just help me out. What business you are in exactly?
So it's an energy and focus based supplement which helps you stay focused for 5-6 hours. So most Indians take coffee or tea for that.
Fair.
So it's a synergistic composition of supplements that work better and make your caffeine work harder.
Sir, agar if I have to build this business for an example, I'll figure out first a narrow set of cohort of users to who understand this product and who value this product. उसको मैं कम्युनिटी बोल रहा हूँ. उनके साथ प्रोडक्ट बिल्ड करूंगा. वो 1,000 लोगों को लेके आऊंगा जो मेरा प्रोडक्ट टेस्ट करें और मेरे इवेंजलिस्ट बने. They should talk on Twitter, Insta, wherever, and if they are recommending the product, which means you're doing a good job on that part. So that's what I meant. I will definitely do performance, but I will just not rely on performance. Community, I'll build followers who would come there and buy my product, and who would stay to it. Your company goes down, they will stay true to you, and then is next set of growth will come in. Look at a multiplier, like 1,000 people will bring more 1,000 people, 2,000 people will bring like next 4,000 people. You have to think like that. And good brands, Garmin is a classic example. Yeah, Garmin in our space, it's just Garmin watches, they're just community product. Whosoever buys Garmin, they swear by Garmin. And that is a brand which is growing, and they sell watches like more expensive than Apple. Apple is not community. Garmin is in a their product is inferior than Apple Watch, but they still highly profitable than Apple on this part, and growing.
Where is it from?
Garmin is a US company. Na?
US. Okay.
Garmin watches you would have
I think
heard.
Americans are very good at storytelling and building a community around it and all.
Indians are also
Selling a
now.
purpose.
That's storytelling. Hi.
I'm Rahul. For the community stuff, great.
I don't think you need a mic, Rahul. Go ahead.
I've seen Noise really adapt and pivot with number of products coming in. There's, of course, something great that you're doing in listening to the consumer and adapting from there for your next product or next few product raises. What's your engine that listens, adapts, and executes? How does one go about that?
Yeah, I think good part is we are in a business which are online businesses these days. If you launch a product today or pre-launch also, you have all social handles where there are social listening tools also nowadays. You don't need to, in fact, go and you just write on. There are tools which will centralize all comments, then do a AI analysis कि आपने ये product launch करा, customer को इस product में ये problem है, ये feedback है, आप इसको ऐसे और वो ये भी बता देता है improve ऐसे कर दो. So we have to keep an eye on it. Like today, our teams also are there in the market, visiting retail stores, what consumers are looking at, what are the problems, how we can improve. So just stay true to the users, close to the users, I would say. And tools are there. Don't close your eyes. Consumers are a real reflection of the product. And by the way, we have a telephone booth in our office where a call center, one booth is here. So one of the core leaders keep going in every day there to listen and talk to the users. हम यहाँ community में बैठ के सोचते हमारे customers ऐसे ही होंगे सारे. But when you talk to them, you realize कि how good, bad, or what problems they are facing. So talk to them, yaar. It's a. By the way, I'll tell you, we are building a product also into kids space. So watches basically a lot of
Okay.
like
What is it called?
we're still figuring out a name, but it definitely gonna be attached to noise because brand building is tough. And I'm not sure people look very young, but let's say you, all of my friends and all people started asking for a kids watch
True.
because they need to be worried about kids tracking. And we are now we did some pilot. We have now user reviews. We have a small group of parent mothers basically who are talking to us every day what to build product. And there were few kids in our office yesterday कि हम ये वॉच बना रहे हैं ये ऐप बन रही है इसके कलर में क्या चेंज करना है इसके पैकिंग में क्या चाहिए तो we are making them as a part of the product creation process and I'm sure that those gonna be successful. You need to understand that if 50 mothers are talking to us and they are coming also to our office to help us building the product, they would ensure that the product is also successful. So that's how we stayed very close.
Go ahead, Neha.
Thank you.
So we use Noise Watch.
No, fair. So there's a very, I'll tell you, community we were talking about. So this product will be sold through Gurugram Moms Group, for an example, because a mom would ask another mom that I need a watch for my son. Which one do you recommend? And you won't realize what is happening is whosoever is buying it's a narrow space, by the way. There is
Yes.
no brand. One kid
One
yesterday I
kid
was.
buys, and then in my society, only like 5 other moms asked me and said, "Now we want to buy. It's a very useful product." And then 5 more moms bought it, and now all those 5 kids, like my friend and his friends, they all are connected through that watch. They call each other and they call their parents. So that's amazing.
This is a simple example of community now. Rahul, you did ask if he's around that how do you listen to community now? Like mother said us कि यार बच्चों को हैबिट फॉर्मेशन करानी है. I don't know you have kids or not. कि यार 6 से 7 ही वो टीवी देखें उसके बाद ना देखें. So we are building a feature where you could set a reminder from an app कि यार 6 to 7 is a kid TV time and 7 to 9 is a learning time, for an example. So it could help them build habits. So this is how we are building products, and it is very difficult for someone to copy it to that level. And mothers or any consumer then will stay true to the product. So happy to get your kid to our office, do some brainstorming. Yeah, there are, by the way, मतलब I use free tools, so वो एक महीने का subscription
हाँ, अभी
I keep taking. So by the way, I to generally go on Grok and all, and I just any GPT and all, I go there and I write that this is the product. Just give me the entire summary of what people are writing on Reddit, Amazon, or Google, and let me know what are the improvements I should do, and then I take it to my teams accordingly. So I use a lot of these tools now. The Grok is I'm finding Grok very useful over this Twitter AI basically, and it helps. Oh, I think 10 minutes mein you do a job which your associate or anybody in your company would do for. Sorry, I mean when you are in depth of business, you know that data is how much correct. So 80-90% you get a solution. At least you can talk to your teams. Okay, this is a problem. This is a solution. By the way, I'll give you a small example of this tool. We launched a product and the consumer complained, earbuds. Consumer complained that the product looks very light in weight. So
that's a USP actually.
no, we made it as per USP. By the way, we made a very lightweight product. We said it's light, but consumer said that it's not value for money. Then we sent to GPT that this is my problem. Read my reviews. तो उसने बोला ये problem है. सबसे ज़्यादा consumer बोल रहे हैं weight बढ़ाओ product का. अब हमने कहा weight कैसे बढ़ाएं? 27 ग्राम को कितना करें? तो we said कि यार okay, can you analyze the density of Apple AirPods, OnePlus Buds? Then it told us कि yes, as per density you are 30% lighter, which means if you want to match Apple for an example, increase 7 grams of weight in a product. Where our product teams would have spent like 1 day to give me a proposal. And how to increase the weight वो भी बता दिया उसने. Material density बढ़ा दो, अंदर component change कर दो, अंदर weight add कर दो. So I think everybody can become a.
It's a hack.
It's a hack.
Sure. No problem. Please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Madhav from Invoke. So we do shapewears, and you mentioned that
Ajay.
you should focus on smaller categories. So shapewear in India is considerably a small TAM right now, right? Now, once we have sort of built something in that TAM, do you suggest that we tap into other smaller TAMs, or do we target a bigger TAM and use the leverage that we have from the smaller TAM as a wedge into
I
bigger
have seen in my experience across every brand starts with a very narrow TAM. Once they saturate that TAM, you need to grow the business and then you expand to all other categories. So let's say in our space, I've seen a lot of brands like Adidas, Nike. They were basically sports brands. Now they are no more sports.
Lifestyle.
They are lifestyle brand. We all wear Nike, Adidas to offices. So everybody need to do to get scale. But to start, you have to be on top. Very narrow cohort.
Right. So once we have done that, the secondary expansion, would you suggest that in another smaller TAM, let's say for us, it would be into
तेरे को customer
swimsuits?
बता देंगे.
Okay.
Once you reach a scale of let's say sizable whatever in your industry, your customers will tell you why can't you offer us this? Why can't you offer us this? We are having a problem here. आपके customer बताएंगे आपको. You don't need to tell. They will give you cues. You would automatically figure out कि मुझे ये करना चाहिए.
Got it. Thank you.
But I would recommend don't do it now.
I guess that's it, guys. For now, we'll wrap it up. But you guys can, take it forward with Amit if you can maybe spend some time here interacting with folks. But thanks a lot, Amit. I think very interesting session and some very key takeaways from early stage, what not to do specifically. And pleasure to host you, Amit. And great, glad that you finally made it. And this was nearby also.
Very
so
easy for me to come.
Yeah, I know. So it worked out well.
मैं देखा 3 मिनट दिखा रहा था मैं कहा
Yeah,
this
I
thing
just
better.
messaged him that we are running early, so if you want to drop in early, so he just came in early. So thanks a lot for
No,
that.
thank you for
Pleasure to have you.
having me here. Happy to help these guys here.
No, so
Thank
Gaurav
you.
is already involved with the cohort. He's
Oh,
a mentor speaker.
Very nice.
This time we'll also hope to get you and share more learnings as they progress in the journey in the next 12 weeks. But thanks a lot and
Thank you guys.
thanks a lot
Good
to all
luck.
of you guys for your patient listening.